Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. This is our first video like this. It's a what's for dinner video. I love these videos so much, and it's personally what I'm always watching on YouTube. If this is your first time checking out one of our videos, welcome. I hope you'll stick around and subscribe, and if you already subscribed, welcome back, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Our first recipe is lemon butter pasta and vegetables. I'll list the recipe links in the description box below. For this recipe, you'll need 1 pound of dry shore pasta. I use rotini, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 pint of cherry or grape tomatoes, 1 pound zucchini or yellow squash, salt, pepper, unsalted butter. You'll see here I use salted. 2 cloves of garlic, 1/2 teaspoons of lemon zest, 3 tablespoons of lemon juice, and grated Parmesan. This is optional in the recipe, but I think it was 100% needed. Okay, and the first thing I'm doing here is salting the water for the pasta. I'm really good at this. Also, don't you enjoy how great this camera focuses? Eventually, there you go. Perfect. Ew, what's on the side of it? Anyway, putting in the salt. Okay, and here's me cutting up zucchini for dinner. I am probably the worst vegetable cutter in the world. Everyone always makes fun of me for how bad I cut. Also, I'm probably giving you guys a hard attack thinking I'm going to cut myself here. So, my goal is to one day take like a vegetable cutting class. Okay, and I just wanted to include me also having the tomatoes. And this is like really scary to watch, even though I know I didn't cut myself. But I took probably about 10 minutes of me cutting these tomatoes. I'm not going to put it all in here because I feel like you guys are going to have a heart attack at home watching me cut them. But I go through a lot of different ways trying to cut them and not cut myself. So, okay, and I guess I also included an artsy shot of the tomatoes. But they do look pretty good. And here is the pan with olive oil heating up in it. Okay, so once the olive oil was heated up, I added in my zucchini. And then the next step is to add in the tomatoes. And I cook this for about 4 to 5 minutes. Okay, so after it was cooked for about 4 to 5 minutes and stirred, I added in my 2 tablespoons of butter, my 2 cloves of garlic, and then here I am adding in my lemon zest. This is, I don't know if this is how other people zest things, it's just something that I have in my kitchen and I use to zest. Wait till you see what I use to juice. Okay, so I know exactly why I filmed this part. I wanted to try to capture how amazing it smelled. It smelled so good. Okay, and here is how I juice my lemon. I really need to get a real like hand citrus juicer because I'm sure I only get like half of the juice out with this one. But it did work for this and it did taste lemony, so don't sweat the technique. Okay, and at this time the recipe said to save the water that was in the pot, like half of the water. So I thought this was the most effective way to do it. I am sure there's actually a better way to do it, but this is how I did it. So it turned out pretty good. Okay, and the final step was to add some fresh basil, but all I have was dry basil, and there's with the Parmesan cheese. Overall, it was a really good dinner. It was definitely light and summery, so I'll be making it more this summer. The next recipe I'm making here is a honey garlic chicken. This is a slow cooker recipe. The ingredients call for 4 large bone-in chicken breasts, half a cup of low sodium soy sauce, 1/3 cup of honey, 1/3 cup of hoisin sauce, 2 tablespoons rice vinegar, 1 teaspoon sesame oil, 2 teaspoons fresh ginger, 1/4 teaspoon red chili flakes, 5 cloves of garlic, 1 small onion, and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. You'll see here that I had only chicken breasts, and I don't have low sodium soy sauce. And what else don't I have? I don't have the fresh ginger, and I don't have the red chili flakes. Here's more of my amazing cutting. I have a different knife today. And I just throw it in this little chopper here. It makes it a lot easier to cut onions because I am a person whose eyes constantly water when they're cutting onions. So I just put in this little thing. It makes one chop. It's pretty loud for the baby sleeping, but I just had to get it done, so I threw them all in there real quick. Okay, and so at this point I had added the hoisin sauce and onions. Here I am adding the rice vinegar. Next, I'll add the honey. After the honey, I will add entirely way too much soy sauce. I think if I had the proper amount of chicken, this probably would have been a normal amount of soy sauce, but you find out later it's actually just way too much. Here is me adding the sesame oil. I think it's just the 1 teaspoon. Next, I'm just going to add the 5 cloves of garlic. I use this jarred Wegmans minced garlic, which I know a lot of people find offensive, but it just helps me out so that I don't have to mince garlic or keep it on hand. And it ends up tasting really garlicky. But I guess I'm not really a garlic person because it doesn't bother me using the jarred stuff. Let me know what you think. Do you use jarred garlic, or do you mince it up every time you use it, or do you keep a bunch on hand? Here I am just showing off Roy's new Chewbacca spoon that my mom got him for his birthday, and I left the garlic jar in front of the camera. Awesome. And here's the salty goodness before it gets poured on to the not for bone-in chicken breasts, but the boneless, skinless chicken breasts. And you will watch me make a great mistake where I, instead of setting the crock pot to the recommended 4 to 5 hours on low, you guessed it, I set it to 5 hours on high. Now, luckily I catch this about the, 4-hour mark, and it's only a little bit dry. Here we go. Wow, love this part. 4.5 hours later on high, I take the chicken out. 4 hours later on high, I take out the chicken, which is falling off the not bone, and here I am shredding it all up. Is this how you shred chicken? I feel like it looks very clumsy. If you have better tips on how to shred chicken, please let me know, because I feel like this is the only way I know, and it gives me carpal tunnel. Now, the recipe called for me to take the sauce out of the crock pot, put it in a pot, and then put it in with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. So here is the sauce that is boiling. Here's me adding a water and cornstarch mixture to it to make it thicken up. There it is, thickened up. Here's me just stirring it and marveling in it because it looked so delicious. I had no idea how salty it would be. Next, you can enjoy me pouring this sauce over that shredded chicken that took forever to shred. Doesn't that look so good? Oh my god, it looks so good. I wish I was eating it right now. Okay, and here is the final product. It looks so good, and I served this over white rice. This night I completely forgot to film. Roy was making dinner. He was making burgers, as you can see, on our old grill. We're getting a new one this week. He was very not proud of the final product.
I don't know why this one fell. I don't know why that one fell apart. I don't know why.
I'm gonna film your hair.
Oh.
We also had corn on the side from a can. And if you can imagine, we also had baked beans from a can. Okay, and the next recipe is for an chicken enchilada with homemade red sauce. You will need 2 whole chicken breasts, 2 cups of chicken broth, 1 teaspoon garlic powder, 1 10-ounce can of diced tomatoes, 1 medium onion dice, 12 corn tortillas, and 2 cups of grated cheddar cheese and Monterey Jack cheese. Okay, so I had some problems with the writing of this recipe. The first step, it tells you to preheat the oven to 400 degrees, but throughout the entire chicken recipe, it should take over 45 minutes. So I did not preheat the oven to 400 degrees at this point. What I did was I added my, I used 14 ounces of diced tomatoes, a medium onion diced, and then garlic powder that I could not get the camera to zoom on. Wow, look how pretty that picture is. Okay, so I add the garlic powder. Everything's going great. Next, I will add the 2 cups of chicken broth. Then they want me to add the chicken breasts. Mine were frozen. They wanted me to add that to the pot and have it simmer for 30 minutes. And don't worry, I did wash my hands after handling that frozen raw chicken. That freaked me out watching that back. Okay, and this is where mistakes were made. This is where I shouldn't have followed the recipe so much, and I should have just read the blog post before the recipe that I thought was just a pointless story. This is what I needed for my enchilada sauce. And if you can imagine, all it said was make enchilada sauce. So that's what I thought I was doing. Turned out I actually had to make the roux first, which makes a complete amount of sense, add the seasoning, and then stir it, and it would be like a thick sauce. Instead, I made some kind of soupy mess that I thought was a sauce. So here's my tip. Sometimes you should read the blog post, but I do think this was kind of a badly written recipe because, like I said earlier, they wanted me to preheat the oven before 45 minutes worth of work. And then they didn't tell me how to make this enchilada sauce at all in the written recipe. I say they, but I really just mean Bunny's warm oven recipes. So I guess I'm just blaming Bunny for all of this. Now, while I was making enchiladas, I was drinking a margarita, showing you my what I thought was beautiful enchilada sauce, and then simmering my chicken for, it ended up being about 45 minutes because mine were frozen. The next step was to take the chicken out of the pot and start shredding it. And then you want to get rid of everything in the pan that was in there with the raw chicken. So the diced tomatoes, the onion, the chicken broth, just throw that out or drain it down your sink. Okay, and then I added my actually good enchilada sauce, that it was thick, to the bottom of the pan. It said add about, I think, a half a cup, so that's what I did. I just added it to the bottom and it ended up looking delicious. It's kind of all over the place instead of having an assembly line of ingredients. Okay, here I am pouring the remaining enchilada sauce and the 2 cheeses that I had left over, the Monterey Jack and the cheddar cheese, on top of it before throwing it in the oven at 400 degrees for about, I did 25 minutes. It says 20, but I did 25. Here's what they look like before they went into the oven. I probably would have enjoyed eating them just like that. Alright, and here is Milo during his witching hour, which happens to be right now. So this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. The enchiladas were delicious, and so is everything else we made this week. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe and let me know what I can improve on the next video. Thanks. See you guys later.